Hey everyone. This is a little awkward for me, as I'm sure for anyone watching, but this is going to be the first sort of face cam video we're going to be doing for Grim Dawn. Um, it's actually kind of weird. I don't think I've ever done anything on camera where you can see my face. I've done stuff on microphone, obviously, but I'm going to try to do this and have myself be hopefully just mildly entertaining, and hopefully I'll be able to pay attention to a game and pay attention to the camera at the same time. What we're going to be doing today for Grim Dawn is we're going to be looking at 3 weapons for the Aether build, and this came up as an idea when I was this came up as an idea because I've switched from Immaterial Edge on my main build to Spellweaver. And the Spellweaver that dropped, that has this delicious 95% Aether damage bonus on it, that actually dropped in a previous recording I was doing of this, but I decided to actually do this as this recording instead of doing the previous one, because in the previous one I did like 5 or 6 Aether weapons, and I don't really think anyone wants to see the same content over and over and over and over and over again. Well, I mean, it's an action RPG, so I'm assuming that's going to be that's a given. But yeah, doing this 3 times, just looking at different weapons, it is preferable to doing it like 6-7 times and looking at like Defiance and Aether Steel Arbiter, which are basically gonna have the same results, or a crafted weapon which has more or less the same results as well as the as those 2 epics I mentioned. So we're using the Spellweaver right now. And this is my go-to choice now for an Aether Ray build. Only because... Well, I shouldn't say only because. Because it's got a ton of Aether damage just on it. And it's also got a lot of casting speed, in addition to +2 to Albrecht's Aether Ray. So we quickly took out those 2 heroes. And in comparison to Immaterial Edge, it's technically a net 1 bonus. Net +1 bonus to the Aether Ray, but that's actually quite a bit when you take the damage into account. And that extra casting speed is super helpful. Also, more offensive ability is, in my opinion, beneficial to spirit and energy regen with the way Iskandra's Elemental Exchange works now. Just about the only thing that is going to happen is your sheet DPS for your main attack is going to go way down. But the Aether damage, and we can do a quick look-see here. If we look, our Aether damage with the Immaterial Edge is about 1,400, upper side of that. 14,000, I mean, excuse me. And on the, the Spellweaver is about 16,000. And that's even without the Aether Aura on there, because it switches off, because that's what's on. That's our aura for our weapon. Now, I also have Soul Flare here. Soul Flare gives us about 1,500. And that's because Soul Flare has casting speed as well. And I think Soul Flare is kind of the in-between of these two weapons, because it has the casting speed of Spellweaver with the regen of Immaterial Edge, even though you lose on your points bonuses compared to the other 2 weapons. Now, the only problem I have with Soulweaver is its ability kinda... I thought that was a guy. Its ability kinda sucks. Its abilities, its ability is the, Aether Missiles. Do I just not have... It's like... Did I just use Mirror of Arachtes and not pay attention to me using Mirror of Arachtes and then take a crap ton of damage? I think that's what happened. There's just a lot of Chthonians in this run up to this area. More than I'm used to. So, you're going to see these little green when I do certain attacks, when I do most, or I should say all attacks, you'll see these like little green missiles shoot off of my character. And let's see if we can get him to proc. And those are those right there. That didn't really go that far. Those are the Aether missiles. I'm a little sloppy because I've got the camera going, and it's like, oh, I have to actually kind of juggle another thing now. At least do facial expressions, so I'm not like one of those Let's Players that just like. Now the other advantage, and really this isn't an advantage of Soul Flare anymore, really. That was a lot of damage. It's always, I hate running into this room. It's always super iffy what's going to be right there. The other, it's not really an advantage anymore of Soul Flare exclusively, because you can now put ammo on your offhands. And that is that Aether Tendril I just did. It's actually really helpful against the boss, and I'm kind of hoping we get an enemy hero in here. Oh, poop, she's right at the door. Damn it. Crunch. I hate when she's right at the door. This is so hard to do when she's like this. Okay, I'm probably going to be concentrating now. The reason it's hard is because enemies can see through walls in this game. So all the guys that are on the sides and stuff, they're just going to come in and try to ruin my weekend. So, we have to actually get super kitey and then just take these guys out, because, especially Blade Maidens. But, the Storm Bearers are really bad as well. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, come on, just see me already and get in the room so I can actually... Okay, I think we've got things open. So what I'm gonna... Ugh. It's like another mob has seen me and is gonna come in the room. Okay, are you guys done over here? I'd really, really, really like to fight the Iron Maiden. Okay, what we're gonna do here... Oh, nope. Someone up here saw me. Okay, so what we want here is... we hit her with the Aether Tendril, because Aether Tendril's big draw is it actually lowers enemy resistances. It's not so much the Aether damage you want, because you're not going to get it off a lot. What you really want is you want that lowered resistances to a target. And we pretty much follow our standard pattern of running around, waiting for Mir Varaktes to come back up. And let her use her, and make her use her cooldowns. Or she'll just get a ton of procs and stun and chain stun us a bunch. Now the one advantage that the Soul Flare and Soul Flare and Spell Weaver have. I'm trying to. Oh, come on. Soul Weaver and Spell Flare. Soul Flare and Spell Weaver both had the advantage. Another guy, go away. Seriously, go. Oh, god damn it. I didn't actually want to attack that. Okay, that character. So, another advantage they have, and I'm gonna... Come on, go away and leave me alone. take a hint. I guess I can't get this thought out because I keep getting interrupted, so we're just gonna kill her. Oh, Defiance. That was another one I considered doing in this short video about Aether weapons. So the thing about Soul Flare, I'm gonna finish the thought. The thing about Soul Flare and Spellweaver, and we're gonna switch back to Spellweaver. The thing about Soul Flare and Spellweaver is they have the casting speed, and the casting speed allows you to sort of kite things along. Now, I wasn't really doing it against the Iron Maiden there because I was trying to talk while playing the game, and talking while playing the game is actually quite difficult to do. And it's like talking, playing the game, and trying to stutter step the Aether Ray doesn't work. Especially with the camera, because the camera is like, I'm trying to actually look at it and interact with it a little bit. So it's like, I'll occasionally look up and then miss something I'm running by. Okay, let's see if I teleport through the wall this time. Nope. That was such a weird and scary glitch, because it just threw me in the middle of a group, and it included getting, like, Bravna on my case. Ow. So just for a real quick look and a recap, Blackwood Wand is probably going to be the first Aether-related weapon you're going to get, and it's a really good one. It's also a really good one if you want to make a Warlock, because with this you get +1 to all Arcana skills and +1 to all Occultist skills. Now the Aether doesn't benefit the Occultist as much, but it does benefit the Arcana side. And if you switch to the Chaos Beam, I would consider switching the weapon out then, because even though you end up with basically +1 to all skills as a Warlock, you do have an Aether weapon when you're a Chaos build. The other sort of like weapons you're probably not going to use, but if you have them and nothing else, they make a good alternative, is Defiance, which has Aether and Chaos damage, Aether and Chaos damage %, and then health, and then some defensive ability, and it has the Aether ward ability. And I mean, it's not a terrible weapon, it's just there are better options for you to get out there. But if you have Defiance and nothing else, go ahead and use Defiance. Same thing with Aether Steel Arbiter. Now, Aether Steel Arbiter is more for a warrior mage character. In fact, I think it's built for the battle mage especially, like a Kalidor's Tempest battle mage, who's very much gearing towards Aether damage, because you'll have a lot of physical damage out of this weapon, but it'll also get converted to Aether damage, in addition to having a bunch of defensive abilities. And actually, for hardcore, that's probably not a bad weapon choice if you're doing a hardcore Arcanist. Spellweaver is my personal choice for an Albrecht's Aether Ray Arcanist because of the absurd amount of Aether damage it has, the offensive ability, the casting speed, and +2 to Albrecht's Aether Ray. Arcane Fury is actually, I mean, it's a little chancy, but I mean, it's still a pretty good bonus to have, especially if you're fighting like the Iron Maiden and you get your health knocked down to almost nothing. I mean, I wasn't using it against her, but if you get your health knocked down to almost nothing, you get a big casting speed bonus, and you are basically going to be casting the beam for nothing at that point. Soul Flare is another option because it has % Aether. I mean, the physical to Aether damage doesn't really help you at all. The Spirit and Energy Regen both do help you, and the casting speed is awesome. Aether Missiles, I really think the proc rate on that should be something like 25% or 30% even, because they just don't happen enough. And if they were like 30%, I'd probably switch to that as my main weapon as well. And, I mean, in place of Spellweaver. I mean, I have it on my alt because I think it just looks cool and I like having it on me. And the Aether Tendril ability is actually quite helpful because it's... Oh, I forgot I did have Aether Aura. I forgot to put it back on. Whoops. So, yeah, Aether Tendril is really helpful for that 30 reduced targets resistances for 3 seconds. And then finally, I think this is the go-to for a lot of Arcanist builds, is Immaterial Edge, and I was using it for a really long time before switching to Spellweaver. And it has everything you could want. It has your Aether damage, it has regen, it has spirit, and it has +1 to all Arcana skills. So yeah, it's probably your most solid choice for next to Spellweaver for the Albrecht's Aether Ray build. But it's also a great choice if you're doing Panetti's, because you'll hit all 4 of your Panetti's, but also the bonus Aether damage affects Distortion and Proliferation. It's also a great item if you are doing a Kalidor's Tempest build, because it'll hit both Kalidor's Tempest and Inferno. But for Kalidor's Tempest, I think that for Kalidor's Tempest, I seriously need to reposition this camera, because I'm like I want to be a little down, and I'm for Kalidor's Tempest, Spell Thief would be your option, I think, more than Immaterial Edge. But if you're really Aether based, like if you're going very Aether instead of Elemental, then yeah, Immaterial Edge will work great for you, especially if you are going deep into the Arcanist tree. But if you're going like only up to Inferno, I'd recommend Spell Thief, or if you're specifically going Battle Mage, I mean, Aether Steel Arbiter would be pretty awesome to use too. As for crafted things, of Insanity is a great keyword, or a great suffix. Even though you don't get a lot of the mind control doesn't happen a lot. It happens about the same rate. As far as I can tell, I don't see a percent on control targets mind for 2.5 seconds. So I don't exactly know what procs that, but I've never had it happen on the beam as much. And the confusion is sort of like same rate as Aether Steel, or as the Aether missiles from Soulflare. Of the Aether is just your big chunk of Aether damage one. Of the Abomination is physical damage and Aether damage. So that's, again, more of a warrior mage type of thing. You can go for fire. I have an Enchanter Spellblade of Scorching. So fire is an option. That's of the Aether. So Inquisitors gives you bonus vitality damage, I believe. Do I have a second Inquisitors thing in here? I believe it's a vitality damage related one, which actually helps out Disintegration a bit. Arcane Blaze is probably the main thing you want to go for if you're going for raw percents on your damages. So I have an Eldritch Ritual Wand of the Arcane Blaze, and it's like, that's Vitality, Aether, and Fire. And the only reason I'm not really using this one is because that casting speed sort of is a deal breaker for me. Plus, it's like mine has my Spellweaver has +2 to Albrecht's Aether Ray. But I mean, otherwise, this would be a very awesome option if I didn't have other things to go for. I think I'd use it for Kalidor's Tempest, Arcanist, as well. I mean, that's probably like in my like list of top 4 things. It's probably like Spellweaver, Immaterial Edge, Soulflare, and this thing. But yeah, thanks to the way crafting works now, you can actually get a great weapon for your elemental damage type with when crafting the implements. So that was I shouldn't do it that close to the camera because of the autofocus. But yeah, that was all of the Albrecht's Aether Ray options for weapons. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the first face cam on the channel. It's like I'm looking over, and it's actually kind of weird to me to see my own face on camera. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.